prior to Anaheim, Echo Fox made the decision to make a role switch within their team. So they moved Faceno over to the main AR and Aqua over to the flex position. So this is a team change that some teams have already undergone during World War II, and sometimes it benefits the team, but sometimes it also hurts the team. So I really wanted to look at the pre and post role switch stats for Echo Fox and take a look at how they're doing now. So I'm going to look at the first half of Stage 2 and Seattle for the pre-roll switch, and then the second half of Stage 2 and Anaheim for the post-roll switch stats. So moving on to the pre-roll switch stats, we're going to see Faceno really low on the respawn KD with a 0.88, only above Swift Azor in the league, which is a really, really poor KD for a flex player. And 43 maps is a pretty good sample size. So it wasn't really looking too well for Faceno over there on the respawn KD. Let's move on over to the respawn Slayer. Faceno is going to be at number 12 here in the CWL with a 19.85 kills per 10 minutes. Again, really on the lower tier of flexes in the game at that point. So it wasn't really looking good for him in that flex position. Let's move over to Aqua. Aqua was also kind of underperforming for main AR, just above a 1.0 KD. You usually see main ARs with a lot higher than a 1.0, as you can see on this leaderboard. So 1.01 wasn't really cutting it for Echo Fox, especially in hardpoint, as we'll get to see in a little bit. And then we'll move over to the respawn Slayer. You can see Aqua's actually near the top with the number 4 with a 22.78 kills per 10 minutes, which is pretty good, but this probably means that he was being way too over aggressive and getting a lot of kills, but also getting a lot of deaths for his team, which isn't something a main AR really wants to get. So yeah, let's move over to the team stats. So Faceno and Aqua, they were both pretty low for overall KDs for their position. Faceno with a 0.86 and Aqua with a 1.05. Usually see a lot higher for main ARs and a lot higher for flexes. And as you can see here, their hardpoint was definitely the thing that was making this possible for their team. 7-21 record in hardpoint. They're losing on average by like about 40 points. So it really wasn't looking good for Echo Fox, especially in hardpoint, with Aqua holding the main AR and Faceno holding the flex position. As you can see here with the team KDs, with that pre-roll switch, everyone wasn't really performing well except Temp, who was just over a 1.0, but just one player over a 1.0 is not going to cut it, and then an overall negative team KD. Surprisingly, their S&D was actually really good. With a 15-8 record. You can see their stats over here. Aqua was really killing it with a 1.38 S&D KD. Faceno wasn't really cutting it out with a 0.67, but we'll see how he transitioned later on. And then CTF, their CTF was actually doing pretty fine. They had a 10-5 record, and that actually just continues out throughout after Anaheim and into the second half of Stage 2. So specifically at Seattle, they were 4-11 in hardpoint. So that was basically why they ended up finishing 4th in the tournament. Their S&D and CTF were really good records with 9-4 and 6-2. So it was really their hardpoint that was holding them back. And now the other records are actually pretty good for a 4th place team. It actually are like championship caliber numbers for those records. But 4-11 is just definitely not going to cut it. Obviously, you can see the CTF KDs pretty good. Faceno still under a 1.0, but it really didn't matter because overall the team was playing well. So let's move on over to the post roll switch and see how they changed. So we'll go over to the leaderboards, and Aqua sitting in the flex at the number 2 position. So he jumped up from being, I believe, the number 12th main AR to the number 2 respawn KD for flex players with a 1.13. So you can see already that this roll switch helped his play a lot. We can go over to the respawn Slayer, and he's also a number 4 here. So he was number 4 for main ARs, but he also is a number 4 for flex after the roll switch with a 21.87 kills per 10 minutes. So really good stats for Aqua after this roll switch. It looks like the PPSH in his hands is doing really well when he needs to bring it out, and whenever he uses the AR on those other two AR maps, he's still doing well. So moving on to the main AR KDs. Respawn KDs. You see Faceno with a 1.07 at number 8. So he's actually doing better than Aqua was as a main AR, and he's holding pretty decent numbers. So it's like middle of the pack, but he's still doing a lot better than he was as a flex player. I think he was at 0.88 if I remember. and he was number 14 on the leaderboards for flexes. So a really big jump for Faceno, and yeah, it's just looking really good for Echo Fox in terms of the respawns. Moving on to the respawn Slayer for Faceno, he's actually at number 4, so he matched Aqua's position at number 4 at the main AR position. So being something like I think 12th in the respawn Slayer for flex players, and then moving up to 4th for respawn Slayer for main ARs is a really big jump, and it really looks like it was helping both of these two players out. Going on to the team stats now. So we're going to look at Anaheim and Stage 2 second half. So as you can see, their hardpoint has improved drastically. They were at 7-21 before the team change, and now they're at 7-7. So an even record, not bad. Their overall have an average of plus 10 points in their score. Everyone's going positive on their team. It's not like before where only one player at temp was going positive. So definitely in hardpoint, this team change or this role switch, I keep saying team change, but this role switch was definitely helping them out in the hardpoint category. However, their S&D kind of slumped, and I took a look at this and took a look at some of their S&Ds that they were playing. And in Seattle, Temp and Aqua were running the ARs for Echo Fox and S&D, and then Saints and Faceno would be running those SMGs at Seattle. But then at Anaheim, they were running 3 ARs on most SMD maps, with Temp, Aqua, and Faceno all running ARs. So I'm thinking maybe their S&D kind of slumped a little bit because they were running that 3 AR setup, because they didn't know which player to switch out and put as a second sub. So now in Stage 2, I believe they're mixing around and trying to find who should be that second sub, and they're trying to mix and match, see what works best for them. But right now their S&D has taken a little bit of a hit, but I don't see that changing or I don't see that staying like that for that much longer. And then their CTF has stayed pretty consistent, 7-2 record, really good. Faceno is actually leading the team as a main AR should in CTF with a 1.16. Everyone's going positive. Same with hardpoint. So really, this team change really helped the respawn KDs and help them improve in their respawns. And I believe this is the most beneficial role switch that we've seen this entire year. If I were to take a guess, maybe the RC's Clayster role switch from main AR and flex is up there, but I believe this one takes the cake. And I want to believe that after this year ends, we're going to look back on this and see how beneficial this actually was for Echo Fox and how beneficial it was to the play of the two players in their respawns with their new roles. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video. I'm starting to like doing some more analysis and stat breakdown stuff like this. So hopefully you guys liked it, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.